talk that along. It's going to be tough to follow the legendary Phil Ziegler around everyone else, but I think I'm going to preface to loosen up everyone, because people were saying, come on, do your Jim Backus imitation. So. Well then, there now, that's Jimmy. Are you the king of the ball, Dad? He says, Jimbo, didn't I buy you everything you wanted? When you wanted a bicycle, I bought you a bicycle. When you wanted a car, I bought you a car. Anyways, but I just had to do that together. I was going to give this to Marcus. I wrote this article and I submitted it to Pam, and I met some great people. I was what you would call a Fairmount virgin last year, coming here the first time. I was doing my Air Force duty at Wright-Patterson, and I had the weekends off, and I was like, what do I do with my Saturday? And I'm like, Fairmount's only 112 miles away. I've driven farther for football games. So I drove to Fairmount, and I met some great people. I met Lenny and David at the James Dean Gallery. They gave me a map, and I saw all the spots, and basically, Lenny says, just think of it this way. You have you can come back next week when the James Dean Festival is going on, and you'll know where everything is. So that was really cool. And so I came back the following week, and I'm like, I always wanted to meet Marcus. And I went to the car show, I'm taking pictures, and I see this baby blue T-Bird. I'm like, wow, what a cool T-Bird. I'm taking pictures of it. I see the name plaque and it says Marcus Winslow. So I look to my left, or that's my left, stage left, and I look to my right, no Marcus. I turn behind me and he's sitting next to Phil Ziegler, and I'm like, hey, can you get a picture of us together? And I go, Marcus Winslow, and I point at him, and then I felt like a fool because Marcus knows who he is. I don't have to point it out. But then a week later, I'm driving to my drill weekend, and I'm like, I'm going to take a detour through Fairmount. So I'm taking the long way because it just happened to be on Friday, September 30th. And it's Friday afternoon, and I didn't know there was a memorial service. If I did, I would have taken the whole day off of work. But I took a half day. I'm driving through Fairmount on my way to my drill weekend at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And I stopped by, drop a little letter off that James Dean's grave, just a little, and I gave Marcus a copy. And I see something going on at the Carter's motorcycle, and I see Philip Timos. And this guy is from Australia, and he has so much passion. He goes, how are you doing? And I said, I'm great. He goes, I'm from Australia. He goes, and I bought a house on Vine Street. And if you want to stay there, just speak to David in the James Dean Gallery if I'm not staying there. And I just thought that was so cool. And we're standing around James Dean's gravesite, and I'm like, we're all expressing what Jimmy meant to us. And Philip really expressed it. He goes, we all got a little bit of James Dean in us in some way. And just this past July, I took Debbie, who's filming me right now, and we had a great time. But I just want to read some because I was going to give this to Marcus. I'm still going to give it to you. Here's the quote. If I had one day when I didn't have to be all confused and I didn't have to feel ashamed of everything, if I felt like I belonged someplace, were words uttered by James Dean while playing the role of Jim Stark in the film A Rebel Without a Cause. It captured the angst many of us felt as teenagers. I had similar angst starting in November of 1981. So I'm a little bit nervous up here, but I'll be okay. So what happened was my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and it was devastating to our family, and he was only given like 6 months to a year to live. And so 1983, 2 years later, he beat the original diagnosis. This is how I became a James Dean fan too, by the way. I had only heard about James Dean through references of like Happy Days. You know, you'd see Fonzie, and he'd open his coat closet, and he'd, Jimmy, what would you do? And because before that, when I was in grade school, I was a big Fonzie fan. And then, so I took a class called Art of the Film, and we would learn how to write movie reviews. And it was a really awesome class, and one of the films we saw was East of Eden. And I watched that film, and they came to that finale, and it just moved me, because I pictured myself in that position, you know, where Jimmy's at his, well, Cal, he's playing the part of Cal, he's at his father's bedside. And 1986, it played out in real life. And so, a couple years after my dad passed away, I saw the film in a video store. I rented it again, and I showed it to my mom. And as soon as Julie Harris appeared on the screen, she goes, "That's Julie Harris." And I go, "Do you know her?" She goes, "Yeah, I grew up with her." I didn't know Julie Harris was from Grosse Pointe, my hometown, but she grew up in my hometown. And my mom was born in 1924, and Julie was born in 25, so they knew each other when they were kids. So I thought it was like such a small world at 2 degrees of separation. And then to make matters even crazier, I'm working on this house because I'm landscaping this house. The owner was getting ready to sell it. 30 years passed, I found out that house I was working on was the house that Julie Harris grew up in. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And that's pretty much about it. Anyways, I just want to thank Marcus for carrying the torch and carrying on Jimmy's legacy, and David and Lenny running the James Dean Gallery, and Pam running the fan club.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you.